All across the media for the past couple weeks, all you've heard is brokered convention, brokered convention, brokered convention. They're going to have a brokered convention. It will be a brokered convention. Well, first things first. As much as all the pollsters, prognosticators, and pundits want to televise and script out the step-by-steps of a brokered convention, the truth of the matter is that a brokered convention only favors one person. And that one person's name is Donald J. Trump. As you already know, Donald Trump is the front runner. He most likely will. He has momentum on his side. Even though for some weird, crazy reason, he has the highest negatives. Like, his negatives are through the roof. Like, the recent poll had his negatives at negative 40%. Like, people hate him. But yet still they'll vote for him in an overwhelming number. But if Donald Trump fails to win a majority of delegates in the presidential race, some Republican insiders say the party could use a contested convention to deny him the nomination in June. Now, a couple things about denying him the nomination. The first thing is, don't you think to some extent when the establishment, not saying that I'm a Republican because I'm not even remotely, but when the establishment is saying, the people voted for one person, but we want somebody else. So we're going to deny the people, the millions of people that voted for Donald Trump, we're going to deny them their nominee to give them somebody else. Isn't that like the losing strategy? Moving on, I'm just putting it out there. There's just one problem with their brokered convention strategy. The rules of that scenario still favor Donald Trump. The Republican National Committee convention rules arms a frontrunner with two silver bullets. The first is that they lock in a candidate's delegates lead in the first ballot. So when delegates vote the first time, that lead is locked in. That means even if the party insiders force Donald Trump into a floor vote, he still could clinch a nomination when voting begins before any long fight on the floor. Second, the party draft rules block virtually all other candidates from challenging the top candidate on that first ballot. Under the RNC's pending convention rules, the only candidate that could be eligible to challenge Donald Trump is Ted Cruz, junior senator from Texas who the Republicans hate, who got his first, it took him a long time, right? But of the 100 members of the United States Senate who work with him on a daily basis, he got zero. Count it, goose egg. Zero House Senate endorsements besides this week where Mike Lee, another crazy deranged maniac from Utah, decided that he would back Ted Cruz, right? So this is how it works, right? The rules will allow him to be, can be changed, but many are talking up a brokered convention, but it appears there are too many hurdles for them to sink Donald Trump. And anti-Trump Republicans emphasize that if the primary ends without any candidate holding a delegate majority, the nomination can still be settled by delegates voting at the convention. That is certainly true. Trump may not formally clinch a nomination prior to the Republicans' onslaught of Ohio, which is where the convention will be. But insiders are hoping to stop him, but the only person that could possibly stop him is Ted Cruz. Now, a little bit more about the rules. I think there's a misconception out there. So here's how this would work. I'm going to play out the scenario for you. Right? On the first ballot, every delegate Trump won in the primaries is strictly bound to vote for him. There's no other options. They're pledged delegates. If Trump's delegates try to, bolt on the first ballot, the RNC rule mandates that the delegates are they have to effectively resign, and there's an improper vote, and their vote is null and void, and you have to elect new delegates. So Donald Trump will begin with a high floor. They'll probably let it vote for him no matter what. He has to win 43% of delegates awarded. He's won 43% of delegates awarded so far. Imagine Donald Trump finishes the primary in a similar position with 45% of the total delegates, about 1,110 delegates. For a contested convention, Republicans can demand he win a majority at the convention in hopes of beating him in a contested floor fight. Many assume that, that's a total gamble. He will still need 127 delegates to actually be the nominee on the convention floor. However, to win outright in the first ballot. But that doesn't mean that he can't win. I mean, the truth of the matter is that Trump could still take from other active competitors, i.e. he can rob delegates from from John Kasich. He can rob delegates from Ted Cruz. He can rob delegates from the 5 that Marco Rubio has. But either way, in all likelihood, Donald Trump will be the nominee, unless they completely and totally throw out the RNC rules and say, we're going to throw out the RNC rules and we're going to put in our own guy, which to some extent, in my opinion, would totally upset the Republican base of voters. Just in my opinion.